Hello everyone, welcome back to more chess. We're playing 1510 today as black against Vika Vika, I guess. We'll continue with our Caro-Kann adventures here. I haven't played chess in, I don't know. Oh, don't they usually follow up with this? It's a bit of a surprise. Knight, huh? Okay. Um, haven't played chess in a few days. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to take here, right? Like, that was the point of all this, to contest the center? Don't take with the queen. Yeah. We have this check, but who cares? Just develop a knight. Get ready to play this. No, before that, of course, we want the bishop out. Yeah. Bishop should not be susceptible to pawn attacks yet. They haven't developed either of these at all. Or pushed either of them, I guess. You don't really develop pawns. You push them. Alright, I mean, this is a bit of a nuisance that I sort of forgot to even think about, but like I don't mind going into a pin for a bit, I think. Right? Is there anything wrong with either of these? They could be piled up on, I guess, but here there's a knight defending as well as the queen, so I think we'll go here. And then just plan like this and castles to get out of the pin. Yeah, this square is heavily defended, actually. The bishop's there as well. So I'm not too concerned about that bishop. Okay, this one also doesn't seem to be doing much. I mean, he's threatening to get to a good square here. Hmm. It is a good square, isn't it? So it attacks this knight, and the knight I would like to recapture with is pinned. If I move the knight, it's attacking this pawn, which is keeping my bishop in place, sadly. So I don't like this so much. Also, the knight is the only defender of this square. So if we want to defend that, we have to push here. But to defend the pawn, then the bishop comes here. And I guess it's something horrible like this to defend? No. Just go here. There's a bishop here attacking this pawn. It's going to make castling awkward, but I'll be able to push here to get rid of it once the knight's moved. I think that should be okay. Whoa. What's she up to? This diagonal obviously sort of calls out. I guess there's this one as well, if the knight were to move. I guess I no longer have the bishop here. That's something I didn't consider. So if enough stuff piled up on the knight, I might have just the king defending it, basically. I'm talking about moving the knight away as well. I suppose there's this, attacking the queen. If takes, attacks the knight. And the bishop kind of anchors it in, so it might be good. Or we could try this bishop move first, and then here, while the knight is pinned to the queen? What are they going to do to me if I try something like that? Well, first of all, they could just do this. But then I get a knight here, sort of uncontested. Assuming I trade, right? It attacks the queen and gets to a commanding position. Can't be so easily kicked because this knight's in the way of the pawn. I think it's an okay thing to try. No. Yeah, I mean, I guess that knight is defended twice, but the queen also has to move now, and she can't like it that much. Like, she almost has to go here, maybe? Or here? Yeah. And now, I think, we take with the knight here, and they can't take with the queen, because she would die. So they have to take with the pawn, and we get this lovely attack, and then we have to back off the bishop to here to defend. Because our king is not in such a rosy position either. I guess I could choose which piece to sack here. Not sack, to give up for the knight. I was defaulting to the knight because knights are not as good as bishops, but this bishop is not that happy right now, whereas the knight is just thrilled. On the other hand, he's in the way of my bishop. If I got him out of the way, we'd have this. Okay, fine. Knight it is. I guess I could have checked the king first, but I think I like him well enough where he is. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Alright, now I can't castle. That's cute. Because the knight and bishop are the... Oh! It's worse than that, isn't it? I'm just losing the knight. Whoops. Because the queen's the only defender, and I don't want to spend her. The pin has finally come to get me. I needed to get out of this sooner. Needed to prioritize getting out of the pin before they could add a second attacker. Shoot. Is there some tactical defense, maybe? I could attack the bishop, but then bishop takes, or the knight, but then knight takes. This is actually a pretty strong threat, now that I look at it. Right? Because of the open king side? So they'll take with bishop, which is with check, so I have to move my king. But then soon after, I'm threatening stuff like this. I guess I can just duck out to the center, huh? Can I somehow lay some trap where after they take my knight, they have to give the piece back? The knight might have trouble getting out, actually. The white knight, right? If I go here, this is the capture they have to make. Now, I can't actually attack the knight. But he... I guess he could just go here and be traded. Yeah, he'd love to go there, actually. Stop this whole idea. My poor rook, huh? Check. King here. Mm. I couldn't see a way to actually. Oh, this is even worse. Now takes is attacking the queen. No, that's fine. They have to take with the bishop. Still, that was the plan. Mistake? What? I should have thought a moment before doing this, but sure looks wrong to me. This wasn't really how I was hoping to get out of the situation. I thought surely they would see that I'm attacking the bishop. But now the knight has to run. And the only safe spot is here or here. This makes sense. But now I'm just in this killer position, right? I can chase the knight away. He kind of has to run to one of these squares, I think. And then castle? Or castle first, I suppose. I have this check. King here. I don't know how, like, really amazing that is. It does seem good, actually, because then I can threaten to, like, get a queen here, coordinating with my bishop. I guess king can still run. I just don't want this knight hanging out. Go away. Well, I'm very lucky to be alive at this point. Now, question, do I need the castle right now? I don't really think I do. They're not threatening much of anything. And I don't know that the king would really be much safer here anyway. So I think we just start going in for this, right? Even if all we do is, like, win this pawn, that would be pretty cool. So I'm pretty sure this is neat. It attacks this pawn. Ah, but they can defend with the rook. So why don't I go here and attack the pawn this way? Now the rook can't defend. They have to, like, send a knight or a queen back. Queen can't do it. It has to be the knight, right? Here is the only way to hang on to the pawn. They could maybe do something else and give up the pawn. Wait, what am I talking about? The pawn is not... It's only under attack by the queen. Doesn't do anything. Oh, no. There's a bishop there. What if I just took it right now with the bishop? Does that do something? Like, king takes check is obviously pretty serious. But they do have a single legal move, which is this. And then? Like, I don't seem to be finishing him off here. It would be nice to have a rook attacking this space. Okay, this still seems like a good idea. It disconnects the rooks. Because I think it mostly forces knight e1. I don't know, it doesn't force it. They could try some counterattack, perhaps. I have the bishop pair also, it occurs to me. There's giving up the pawn, huh? I mean, that seems bad. I think they could have survived. Hmm. So I don't know that I really want to get my queen involved in this nest of rooks and knights and stuff. I think I might prefer to just take with the bishop and then return. No, the bishop has a very important job. So I can pick this up. This is a fact. Is it a good idea? Or do I like I mean, what are they gonna do? I can do that later, right? Unless they try this. In which case I can still take with the bishop. So I think now's the time to just castle. Get a rook involved a bit more. Get my king to a somewhat safer square. I certainly seem to be the one on the offensive right now. And so castling feels a little bit weird, but I think it's an offensive move as well. It gets a rook that's willing to come over here. Yeah, sure. So this though? I mean, I could try something more modest and be supported by a pawn, but I kind of like getting all the way up here so that the rook can't, like here, here. I guess I can't do that. I don't know. I just kind of like pushing the pawn a bit further. But that ties the queen down. I guess they're maybe threatening this as well. But I don't. I mean, I was like, I can't take. But yeah, they can't either. My queen's right there. So it doesn't really accomplish anything. It lets me threaten something later, maybe. Just quiet pawn move. Get here eventually. I don't want. I don't want my queen tied down to defending the pawn, nor the pawn in the way of my queen perhaps retreating. I think. I sometimes, unrelatedly, get people commenting on my videos like, "Hey, why didn't you try knight c3 on turn 6 or whatever, move 6?" And my answer is like, you just watched the video. You know more about what I was thinking than I do. I recorded this like a week or two ago. I have no idea. I can go back and try to reconstruct it, but so anyway, there's this which is kind of cool. Would I trade my queen in for 2 rooks and a pawn? Like, I think so. Do I? I don't know if I necessarily even have to though. Like, this comes with check and seems neat, and then I get a discovery with the bishop if I can move the queen with check somehow. Or I can just go home. Or take this actually. I'm a little short on time. I should start like making moves a bit more quickly. But I've been under a bit of I was under a bit of stress when they had this knight here. That cost me a lot of time. I was trying to formulate the right attack, and I spent maybe more time than I should have on that. But I think 4 minutes is fine. Hmm. Okay, now it's not 2 rooks. Fine. Let me just grab this. Can I grab this? Is this safe? It actually doesn't seem that safe. Check? I don't know. They could just block. Maybe there's something better, but at any rate, this doesn't seem to accomplish much. So we wanted to get a rook here. My queen does look like she's in a little bit of danger, actually. Maybe I should have run away. I don't know. But now she has moves like this, probably. Even if rook here. This is the move I'm concerned about. But no, I have this attack. Here? Here? Piling up on this knight is kind of cool, but doesn't actually accomplish much, I think. Let's just take this and open up here. So that they can't try, like, putting a second rook into the picture. Bishop here looks cool. It's attacking this pawn, which doesn't really do much, I guess. No, because there's a rook here. That's right. That's why this is cool. But there's a queen and a rook guarding it, so not so great, actually. Let's just cash out of this attack and get to safety, shall we? Bring the queen back soon as well. It's also kind of getting back to the area the king is now in. I don't know. I think I'm happy enough to to dance away like this. They're launching some attack on my king, I guess, focusing maybe on h6 with this battery and then a pawn to support it. Takes. Isn't really very good. Yeah, I want to tuck my bishop back here, I think. Because I want to be able to get my king here to bring a rook back over. Whoops. Wasn't really watching what was happening, I guess. I forgot this guy had an important job to do. Okay. There goes this pawn as well. This check allows here, but then I would get the rook, right? So I think the king has to run. And my queen gets now to defend this pawn, which is part of the point of that attack. She's also, like, suddenly renewing this. And the knight is still under attack. Oh, with check, attacking the queen even. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so that attacks me, but check? Check is better, right? Yeah. Well, we don't get to win the knight either way. Check. Then I have to move the queen because she's still under attack. I'd rather move the queen first. It keeps my rook back here, which is like maybe good, maybe bad. I can just grab this, I think. Stay on the attack and on defense. Probably better to just take the bishop than to do anything fancy, right? I don't have any good checks because this knight's doing such a great job. I just love to get the bishop out of here. Now the queen is pretty much all by herself. Maybe this is the idea somehow, to pile up on this square, but I think I'm perfectly happy to defend. And there's probably some trick if they try that, like, I don't know, here. Nope, that'd be pretty bad. We get the queens off, right? Nope, they just take with the knight. Okay, back off to here. Is that safe? Doesn't actually look that safe. Here looks better. Guarded by the bishop, guarding the bishop. Attacking the queen. Get the other rook involved? Is queen coming into here any concern? I guess it could be. Maybe I should give my king some room to breathe. Ugh, I hate it. Now I can get the queens off. Here we go. No, my pawn is pinned. That would be just throwing away a queen. Alright. Let's bring the other rook in. This is scary. If they get enough time, they can catch me in here by getting this pawn in. But my pawn is pinned, isn't he? Okay, queen over. Defends. Rook here? Probably good. I don't have time to figure it out, but... Let's just give my king some breathing room. I want my queen to stay right where she is. If they push this, I'm not taking, because my bishop does a good job here. I have this, I suppose. Maybe I should have played that last move, actually. Tearing apart these pawns takes away most of the queen's threat. And also works very well with this rook on the back rank. Yeah. That was like almost checkmate, actually. Okay, let's try it again. Probably it was checkmate. Isn't this... Well... Oh, bishop? I think the rook has to block. Or you could push the pawn here, but I just take it, right? And now when the rook blocks, it's game over. Okay. Well, it looks like a stomping, but I feel like I was clearly losing in the mid game, and then my opponent like made a one move blunder that kept me even, and I was, well, not even. I was better after that because here I got this nice improvement of like I wrecked their structure, right? But then they went in for this, so like I'm behind as of this move. Um, but when we trade minor pieces, I'm ahead because I get this amazing structural damage. And I don't know. Did they like blunder pieces over here? I don't think so. Like, I mean, there was knight here, and then I can't win the pawn. But that's obviously got downsides of its own. And maybe we just bring a rook in next. They have sufficient defense for this, even with a queen on it. But it just seems very nice. Maybe it would be premature to go after this pawn, and I should just castle? Perhaps. But they didn't do that, and I took the pawn eventually. Oh yeah, this king move, very questionable. I don't know what that was all about. I mean, I guess if here I'm threatening to like take the rook and then win the other rook, so they're getting out of that preemptively, I guess. Um, but I think if I tried, there would be queen here. So like, say they make some other useful move instead. Like, I don't know. Well, they can't castle, that's right. They already moved. They already castled to the other side and they're headed back now, yeah. But like, what other move would be useful? I don't know. Bishop here is awful. Just lose it. Some pawn move. But what, right? Like, maybe here? No, just take it. Maybe try to get this rook in? I don't know. I'm not sure what they're supposed to do. Maybe this preparing here? Let's see what the computer thinks. Yeah, so I thought about this move. It kind of ties my bishop and queen together, but it didn't seem like that big of an imposition. It says they should go back here. I don't quite understand that. It actually doesn't mind the king. Well, it says it's substantially worse than queen move, but apparently queen e2. Huh. Defending the pawn, I guess. But I can still take it if I want. Right? Yeah. And it's basically saying this queen is intolerable, you have to trade. I see. So that's the other point of queen e2. It defends the pawn, which doesn't actually matter, but it threatens to trade off the queen. So maybe that's why this move is sort of okay. No, that doesn't make any sense. Now you don't have the queen here. Okay. Well, interesting. So yeah, this was a big problem, although I took advantage of it in the wrong way, apparently. This gives back a ton of my advantage. Interesting. So let's go through. Well, I don't know. I want to do some analysis on my own. This rook move seems greedy. Yeah, my poor bishop, huh? So I guess when I grabbed this pawn, I sort of gave up this one, and that seems like a problem actually. But how else is my queen getting out, right? Like, she actually seems like she's in a little bit of trouble here. I think she's fine. Yeah, she has good support. Um, it actually says don't escape, lock her in. That's a little scary. Apparently it's fine though. They can't get two rooks coordinating on her, huh? Interesting. But this move is fine. I don't like having to give up this pawn. I don't know. But I don't think I can help it. They've always I have to make some move over here because my bishop's hanging, right? So suppose I try this instead. Keep all the attackers in the area. They go here, and now like, what am I supposed to do to stop this? I guess there's h5. Then if this g4 move is played, I can capture. But I really don't like my king. Yeah, I don't. This is not a good safe shape for the king to live in. Because rooks can get involved, major pieces in general can get involved here, and it's hard for him to defend all of it because there's a pawn in the square. He would like would be his ideal way to defend the back rank, and there's a pawn in the way, so you would have to like push here and then here maybe to make the king safe. I don't know. This seems rather committal. Maybe it's okay. What does it say to do here? Ah, this is a point that I missed. We were trying to pile up on this pawn by bringing the rook here. And bishop here not only saves the bishop, it adds a third attacker to the pawn. And white can't add a third defender, so we can just take it and like trade off some more material if they want. Like, we can probably come in with the rook and make them trade because we're attacking these pieces. Yeah, that would be a definite improvement. All right. I don't know. Let's see what else happened in the game. This was sad. Oh no. I gave away my entire advantage here? I gave up checkmate? But they missed it. Yeah, I mean, that knight was a little scary. But I didn't think he was that scary. Alright, and then things fell apart for the opponent. I should try to get used to saying for white. Like a normal way to refer to things. Okay. Well, that's a graph and a half, huh? Um 7 blunders. Like, I had a steady advantage most of the game, except for, like, I guess a couple of tactics that I allowed and my opponent didn't notice, basically. Why is this button so unbelievably wide? There's some CSS issue? It was always, like, just as wide as it needed to be. That's wild. What if I refresh the page? Looks the same. Shift refresh? I don't know, maybe they changed it on purpose. All right, so actually, I want to make sure we get to the very first blunder here. Yeah, so pawn back, or bishop back, gave up this tactic. Yeah, because I got the bishop out of danger without. I spent a tempo on it, right? And I can just go here to get out of danger with tempo. No? No. It says I'm up by quite a lot. I guess I could just attack the bishop already, huh? Or even castle so that I can move the knight? No, because my bishop's under attack. Like, shouldn't I do something about this bishop? I don't know. We had this counterattack, maybe? No? They just take it and then come in with check and my life is awkward, I guess? Very odd. I could try pushing this pawn to defend, but again, we just lose the bishop. It's a mystery. What do I do? Really? It's saying, go ahead and give up the bishop. You've got their king in your line of fire, huh? Just monster. Oh, right. I was like, how can this be so great? I just like, but yeah. The bishop is attacking here as well. Oh my god, and we get this discovery? Wow. Why is this so much worse? I don't know. What is the difference between those moves? It's pointing out that bishop blocks here is available. And you want to make sure your rook is still attacking the queen in that case. Wow. So once the king side opened, I should have been like, more focused on attacking. Or I guess it's the queen side. It's the side the king is on, but it's the queen side. Should have said, who needs that bishop? If you take here, I've got this. Which only looks like winning a pawn, but there's also, since the only legal response will be king here, there's a discovery as well with this bishop. That's pretty powerful. But I'm not at all surprised I missed it. Yeah, so I couldn't figure out a good answer here. It says I'm indeed behind, but queen here was even worse than it needed to be, huh? I just like the idea of having my queen over here. Is it this? I don't know. Does rook here give up this staying piece? Probably not. Nope. Definitely. Oh yeah, then they get the rook as well. all right. Don't even tell me how bad it is, Stockfish. I don't understand. Everything's bad. I couldn't find any answers. Maybe I just castle. So that they don't have this captures with check. Yeah. Force them to go in for it now. And then maybe here? So that they have two pieces under attack, but the bishop is still defending the knight. So I guess the takes here, here, here is what I had in mind. But they get the rook. Okay. But that's just horrible. Well, I don't know. I get two pieces for the rook. So I lost one piece, but I'm getting two pieces back and losing another rook. So I'm losing just the exchange instead of an entire piece. I see. Yeah, I would assume takes here. And then, okay, the knight trades himself in for some material. A pawn. So it's bad for me, for sure. Okay, here. I ran away with my bishop. This attack was already here, actually. This whole idea of like picking up the rook, and my kingside was not as endangered yet. I think I could have just gone here. Yeah, yeah. If knight takes, we win the rook. after recapturing with the pawn. The king's in check. Nice. So I spotted that eventually, but not yet. And I think it's, again, the same thing. Yep. Okay. Really? That was a blunder? I'm supposed to give up the bishop? Oh, no, I can block, but that still loses the bishop. Does it not? I guess then I get this file. Maybe? Feels very sketchy. No, it's just that's even worse. Apparently I'm supposed to, like, run over here? No? Well, there's only, I think, one other legal move, right? So I guess I'll try that one. Wow, it was right. Incredible. I don't have any idea why all of this was right or wrong. I mean, I guess the answer is, like, look at what they were supposed to do after your move. Pawn push. Bishop back seems fine. I mean, I guess at the moment I'm basically just up a pawn, and I don't think I clearly have a positional advantage, so sure. But how is king here better? Okay, there must be some tactic because I'm suddenly behind material, right? This, yes. It's attacking the rook all this time. I confess I would have just recaptured. And then maybe gone after the knight. Why is this so great? I mean, I guess maybe another question is why is this so bad? Because of the queen move. I see. I really need this pawn to keep my king from being harassed forever. Okay. And now I finally found this tactic and it was wrong. Very funny. I'm not quite sure why it was wrong this turn and right on the previous move. I guess like getting the queen and the pawn advanced enough means that inviting the knight forward is game over for me. I mean, we saw that this leads to mate in 6, so I guess that is the answer, but why? I'll just back up. Oh, chase the queen? Sure. I had the idea of maintaining this diagonal, but I guess attacking the queen is more important. She's a nuisance for sure. Yeah, and of course you take the knight with check first. I forgot it comes with check. I really just took the rook here, huh? How embarrassing. I just saw that there were 2 pieces hanging, and I took the bigger one. But this knight here is actually quite strong. Especially with the queen so nearby, and even if it didn't come with check, I think it would probably be fine to take it. Oh, also, but if I take here, I don't even get the rook, because the queen is guarding it now. So it's just more about, like... Whoops. How that king is... The knight is just such a big problem that I have to get rid of him, even if I don't get the rook at all. Queen here, sure. All right. Well, A roller coaster ride for sure. Look at those two loop-de-loops, right? Or I don't know, big hills. I don't know, a roller coaster have a more gradual climb and then a steep fall, whereas we were both making kind of huge blunders. This part here is not so bad. It's a little bit of a steep climb, but sure. Okay, and the end game, I don't know. I felt a little bit scared with how things were going. But I think once they let me take this pawn instead of checkmating me, I didn't really make any major blunders. They just gave me pieces, and it actually kind of hates this. It says, oh, how cute. Look at that. No, wait, does that make any sense? Yeah. You take the knight, king takes, check, and you grab the queen. You're up a knight. I wasn't really looking for anything fancy like that. I just wanted to get the queens off. Speaking of which, why didn't I do that? Right, because this is guarded. Right, the pawn is pinned, so this square is not guarded. And it says, you don't need the queen. I thought I might need the queen here to guard this square. It says I don't, but I'm scared. So I wasn't willing to send her way back here. But I guess it is threatening, like, a checkmate pretty quickly, so maybe it would be fine. Yeah. Let's turn off the engine here and see. Like, we're threatening this. Forcing king here, and then this, probably. Forcing the king to one of these squares. Actually, specifically to this one. Because I have a queen guarding there, right? And then, I don't know. Well, actually, instead of bringing the rook over, let's bring the bishop in, so... We're threatening... Well, I don't know. Let's say the opponent goes in for the attack first. Obviously, we go here, but then there's no real follow-up. So they try to get the queen out. Okay. Now what we're threatening is like this. Bishop here. King has no legal moves, so the rook has to block. And then rook here? I'm not sure if that's so great. The king, again, will have no legal moves, but pawn or the knight could both go here. I guess there's knight here. There's queen takes because the rook is pinned. I think it has to be pawn takes. And then maybe chase the king away from defense of the rook. I don't know, it's a little bit messy, but I guess this is where we're finally threatening checkmate. There's probably something better. So what does Stockfish say about this position? Yes, queen here. Yes, bishop here. Oh, this square is guarded by the queen, so rook here is just checkmate. I missed this. I thought the king could escape. I see. Yeah, so if they go in for this queen attack, I just checkmate them. Apparently they can stall quite a bit by taking here first. And getting a useful move up here, I guess? Oh, tying down the bishop, I see. It's pinned now. And apparently I have to take the knight or else it can get involved somehow. Okay. Well, anyway, that'll do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.